We've heard the quote, "A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step," right? Soap making is kind of like that. When somebody asks me to teach them how to make soap, I kind of smile and inside think, young grasshopper, this is so much bigger than you can ever imagine, but I'm going to walk with you through it. Two of the most intimidating things in making cold process soap are the sodium hydroxide, which is lye, and the soap calculator. Some people learn how to make soap without learning the soap calculator, which is okay. That's actually how I learned how to make soap. I took different recipes that were free online and I went to town with it. I really didn't understand the science behind it or how the chemistry worked. I just knew it worked. But when I got serious about actually starting a business, I knew I needed to understand more in order to go forward. So maybe this is you. You are maybe not wanting to start a business, but you're wanting to take the next step in your soap making journey. I would love to help walk you through this process. I cannot learn for you. That you have to do for yourself. But I can be there to give you what I like to call some small steps. Children often learn best through play. Now, adults tend to lose some of that curiosity, which is a real shame because we have so many derogatory things connected with learning. We feel humiliated for not knowing, but every master was once a beginner. So let's start out with one of the elements that can be incredibly intimidating, and that is the soap calculator. Let me encourage you not to take the whole thing in one bite. It's too much to digest immediately. You just cannot do it. It takes often weeks or even months to get some of these concepts down, and even then, there's always more to learn. So now I'm just showing you pictures of things that I've made, but I'm going to also walk you through what the soap calculator looks like. If you go to soapcalc.com, it will bring you to the soap calculator. You can formulate your own recipes from scratch. The basic components of soap are a base, which is sodium hydroxide in the case of a bar soap, or potassium hydroxide in the case of a liquid soap. Both options are available to you in the soap calculator. If you are making a bar soap, you want to go with the NaOH, which is sodium hydroxide. That will be in the top left-hand corner of the soap calculator. One of the other elements are oils, fats, or butters. That can come in a lot of different varieties. And the beautiful part is you can find what you like and run with it. There's no one size fits all. Outside of the realm of safety, you can make soap with a lot of different oils, fats, or butters. Even if it takes you months to grasp these concepts, getting familiar with some of these terms will help you out. Don't be intimidated or frustrated because it's so overwhelming to take in at once. It was meant to be that way. It is chemistry. And grasping chemistry all in one sitting is just too much for any one person to grasp. I have made up a couple of different recipes with 100% of one single oil. A good recipe typically has a lot of different oils, fats, and butters, sometimes 3, sometimes 5, depending on the maker and what they prefer. I want these to be stark contrasts. If you see kind of in the middle, it'll say oil or fat. And then underneath that, it says coconut oil, 76 degrees. There are different kinds of coconut oil. Most coconut oil that you will find in the store, just in the baking aisle, is going to be this kind. There's also fractionated coconut oil or one that melts at a much higher temperature. Fractionated coconut oil is liquid at room temperature. Now, coconut oil is considered a hard oil because it is solid at room temperature. That's a phrase you will hear is hard oil or liquid oil. It just refers to the state at room temperature. One thing I want to draw your attention to is that green portion. It says soap Bar quality. These are the different qualities that different oils, fats, and butters will give to your bar. Every addition to your soap has a result of some kind. Some are more beneficial than others, some are not as desirable. So, learning these different ranges can really help. Some of them are there for reference and won't be a hard and fast always. Putting in 100% of a single oil really gives you a dynamic view of what this particular oil, fat, or butter has to offer to a bar of soap. So this one, if you look in the ranges, hardness, it's a very hard bar of soap using 100% coconut oil. Cleansing, you will see, is also off the charts. Hardness was off the charts. Cleansing was off the charts. Conditioning is very low. Bubbly. Coconut oil adds an exceptional bubble to a bar, so oftentimes it is used for higher cleansing and higher bubble. It's not as creamy, and iodine is low as well. The next number, INS, is including the sap value or saponification value, the unique amount of lye needed to saponify this particular oil. It also stands for iodine. So typically, the higher the number for INS, the harder the bar of soap will be. This obviously is off the charts. As we saw from the hardness further up, it's going to be an incredibly dense, hard bar of soap. So what can we take away from this particular recipe, 100% coconut oil? It has a lot of cleansing. It's very hard. It would be a good addition, but not at high percentages. All right, this next one is notorious, Crisco. If you look down the left side, you will see all of the different ranges. It would be a soft bar, not a high cleansing number. Conditioning would be excellent. Bubbly, no. Creamy, it would be relatively low on creaminess. And it would also be fairly soft, as we saw up top at the hardness as well. The INS and iodine just confirmed what we learned up top. Now this time we're going to take it one step further. We're going to go to the right-hand column, that blue column. The linoleic and linolenic added together, if they are more than 15, that can contribute to something called DOS, or dreaded orange spots. That's something that develops with time and often involves oils, fats, or butters that go rancid a lot sooner than other oils. So this number is definitely over 15. The combined amount, one is 52 and one is 0. So obviously it's more than 15. This bar of soap is not going to have a long shelf life. It will probably go rancid within a matter of months. This is not an excellent addition to your soaping repertoire. If you wanted to use it in small quantities, that would be okay. But a 100% Crisco bar of soap would not be ideal for longevity, as well as for the fact that it would be a very soft bar. This next one is a 100% lard bar of soap, which actually makes quite a lovely recipe. Obviously, not all of the ranges are perfectly in range, but there are things you can do. There are a lot of soap makers that do not understand the soap calculator that do make 100% lard soaps and love it. They swear by them. Their mothers made it, their grandmothers made it. It's something that they love and enjoy, and they do not want to change the recipe. And it's easy to see why once you actually make one. So going down the bar quality, that green column there, it is a relatively hard bar of soap to make a 100% lard soap. The cleansing is low. That doesn't mean it doesn't cleanse. It just means it's not going to strip your skin. It will tend to be more gentle. Conditioning is higher, which is excellent. The bubbly factor is low, which we can do things to help that, even if we only have a 100% lard bar. Creaminess is great. Iodine and INS are not lowest. They're not off the charts low. They are on the lower end. So remember, we ventured over into the blue section. We're going to do it again. Let's look at the linolenic and the linoleic. That adds up to 6, which is well below 15. This bar will not be prone to dreaded orange spots. It will not go rancid as quickly as some of the other oils. So this is another reason why a 100% lard bar can work, and very easily. We're going to add one step, and that's looking up at the oleic. If that number is higher than 38, it could benefit from a longer cure time. We're going to see in just a moment with olive oil soaps what I mean, but here it's 46, so it is higher than 38. A lard bar will only improve with time. It's like a fine wine. It gets better with time. Ones that have a lower shelf life, you want to use them up right away because you don't want that to go rancid. But this is a case where a longer cure time is actually more beneficial. Now, because the cleansing and bubble are so low, something you can do to improve that is number one, a long cure time like we looked at the oleic number, but also add some source of sugar, whether that's granulated sugar or maple syrup or honey. You can add something and that will improve the bubble factor. Also remember that bubbles in a bar of soap do not necessarily equal good cleansing. The soap will form a film over your skin as you rub it on, and then the water will wash away the dirt and oils and things like that. It's not necessarily the bubbles that get you clean. That's a misnomer, and I love a good bubbly bar of soap, so I tend to add a little bit of sugar to all of my batches of soap. Moving on to one of the butters. Butters tend to be much more expensive and they are precious. They have a lovely quality that they add, but typically it's recommended you not add more than 15% of a butter to your recipe. Let's look through some of the things we've learned here, class. Down the green column, the soap bar quality. It's going to have a moderately hard bar of soap with 100% mango butter. The cleansing is low, conditioning is fairly low, bubble is low, creaminess is high, the iodine and INS are on the lower end. Not bottom of the barrel, but not great either. Looking over to the right in the blue column, the linoleic and linolenic are well beneath that dreaded orange spot kind of barrier, so we're not worried about that with this addition. Oleic, it is higher than 38, so it would benefit from a longer cure time. Mango butter is a phenomenal addition to a soap, but I would recommend using it sparingly, not over 15%, as it is more expensive, and for a beginner it's a big gamble to make on an expensive ingredient, but also because it doesn't add a lot of cleansing or bubble, and some of the other factors are lower as well. This is a good addition, but not a so low butter to use. Moving on to olive oil soap. Let's just walk through what we've learned. The hardness is very low. Cleansing is low. Conditioning is high. It's a very high number. Bubble is low. Creamy is low. Iodine is low. INS is low. So what is this telling us? It's telling us that olive oil is a liquid oil. It is not solid at room temperature. And it's going to be very soft if you try to make a 100% olive oil soap. I make 100% olive oil soaps, but let's move on over to the right and we'll see what to do in the case of a 100% olive oil soap. The linolenic and linoleic are beneath 15, so we're okay with the longevity of the soap. But move up to the oleic, and that number is well above 38. So this is going to benefit from an incredibly long cure time. I made my Christmas olive oil soaps for Christmas 2024 in January, which means they will have an 11-month cure before I sell them. This is one that I put up on a high shelf, and I try to forget about them because Truly and honestly, they do ideally the longer you let them cure. It's not merely to allow the water content to evaporate out, but something magical happens within the structure of the soap the longer you let it cure. This is definitely the case with a 100% olive oil soap. There are some really incredible YouTube videos on olive oil makers in the Middle East. If you're interested in looking those up, you will be amazed at the process. I continue to be amazed every time I see one of those videos. It's so astonishing. Olive oil soaps are prized worldwide for their gentle qualities, and once you use one that's been fully cured, you can absolutely see why. Thanks so much, guys, for sticking with me here. I know this is long, but this is so important to understanding these basics. And the more you see them and hear them, the more they will sink in. All right, next one is safflower oil. So let's just go down the chart. Hardness, very low. Cleansing, very low. Conditioning, very high. Bubbly, low. Creamy, low. INS and iodine are on, iodine is very high, INS is very low. So there are some really off balance things here. You can see moving over to the right, the linolenic and the linoleic, 75. Can you imagine how rancid that would be? Within just a short period of time, it has a very small shelf life. Short shelf life. Say that 3 times fast. Oleic is actually low, which means the cure time would be relatively low, but that's really creepy. The dreaded orange spot thing, man, that's going to happen as fast as you can, faster than you can think. So this would not be an ideal in high percentages safflower oil. It's just going to go rancid. It has a very low INS. The sap value is very low. Just not a super ideal addition. At high percentages, even at lower percentages, it's just not going to be up there with the best of the options to use. But I wanted you to see that stark contrast. Now on to tallow. Tallow is very similar to lard. It's rendered animal fat. If you are making a bar of soap for, say, a vegan, this is something that's not going to work. And that is okay. There are different options for different preferences. This is an animal product. My family and I are in farming, so we have a lot of friends who do have access to this animal fat, and we regularly render our own beef tallow. It is such a beautiful addition to soap. It is a standalone item, which you can make a 100% tallow soap if you like. If not, it's a really great addition to a mixture, a blend of different oils. So let's just walk through this. The hardness is really great. It is ideal hardness, nice hard bar. Cleansing is low. Conditioning is fairly low. The bubbly is low. Creamy, nice and creamy. Iodine and INS are looking right within range there. Let's move on over to the right. Linolenic and linoleic are perfect, nice and low. They're not going to have an issue with going rancid. Now the oleic, let's move up one. That one is at 36. So it's still beneath the 38. It doesn't necessarily benefit from having a year-long cure time. Will it get nicer with a year cure? Sure. Do you need it? No. So that's another benefit to tallow soaps, is it doesn't require a super long cure time. It's a great addition to, like I said, another mixture of oils. You can use it in higher percentages. Again, with the cleansing and the bubble factor, you may want to add an amount of sugar or maple syrup or honey or milks. Milks have natural sugars that add a great bubbly factor to your soap. And with the addition of sugar or any sugary substance, you do want to measure that out because there can be too much of a good thing. Your soap tends to heat up in gel phase, and if it heats up too much, you could have a soap volcano on your hands, which is never a pleasant thing. It's almost always a scary thing. So I use 1 teaspoon of sugar per pound of oil of my recipe. The exception for that would be milk. You can use a full milk substitute. Now, under the water amount, you'll see in bright blue towards the top. If you move over to the grams, it's 238. You could do a complete substitute of water for any type of milk. You'd want to freeze the milk first so it doesn't scorch, and then add the lye incredibly slowly. I've heard it said if it takes less than 15 minutes to add your lye to your milk, your frozen milk, you've gone too fast. You simply do not want to scorch this precious milk that you are using, and that's one of the keys. But there are whole other YouTube videos on adding milks to soap that make it ideal. I know this was a highly technical video, and if you are overwhelmed by the soap calculator, I hope this has dispelled some of your fears or anxieties about actually diving in some of these different items on the soap calc and has explained some of them further in further detail. There were obviously some portions of the soap calculator that I did not go through, and that's okay. We'll leave that for another time. I wanted to walk you through some of the different qualities when making a starkly contrasted 100% single oil soap. Because sometimes it's hard to pick out the individual qualities of an individual ingredient. So seeing it so starkly laid out here, you can see what they truly add to a bar of soap and see if it's an addition you want to make or not. Generally speaking, you're doing a mixture or a combination of different oils. There are exceptions for 100% tallow soaps or lard soaps or olive oil soaps, but generally speaking, it's a mixture or a combination of a number of different fats, oils, and butters. And part of the beauty of discovery is playing with these different things in the soap calculator, learning how to use it effectively so you can empower yourself to create literally anything you want to. Yes, you can make soap with a ton of different ingredients, but you want to make something that's special and unique to you. Whether that's based on your climate or your personal skin needs or your aesthetic that you're looking to go for, you already have what it takes. And if it's lack of knowledge, you can gain that. There's so much information out there. Don't you for 1 minute think that you are not capable of conquering this soap calculator, no matter how intimidating it looks now. You can do this. And if you need more help, I have a soapers page called Soapers Haven on Facebook. It's a beautiful gathering of soapers at all different experiences that are helping one another walk through these individual journeys with each other. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you're still watching this to the end, I commend you. This has been a long video. Hopefully it has been super helpful. As always, my name is Martha, and I'm the owner and operator of Blue Haven Soapery. You can find my shop at bluehavensoapery.etsy.com.